Dinner was almost over when Mamiya suddenly stood up. Oh, we almost forgot something important. Naya and Yo brought a small cake. Happy birthday, Lan Gen. Wei froze. Birthday. You didn't tell me. Lan Gen looked calm. It's just another day. Wei frowned slightly. It's not. After cake cutting, friends slowly left them alone. Yo smirked. We'll disappear now. Mamiya winked. Don't waste the night. Soon, only Wei and Lan Gen were outside near the quiet street. It was already very late. Wei checked his phone and suddenly panicked. My hostel gate closes at 10. Lan Gen looked at the time. It's past 11. Wei sighed. I'm dead. Lan Gen spoke normally. Come to my place. Wei looked up. Your house. I live alone. There was no strange tone in his voice. Just simple statement. After few seconds, Wei nodded. Okay. At Lan Gen's apartment, everything was neat and quiet. Wei stood near the window. Your house is very clean. Lan Gen removed his blazer. You're surprised? A little. Lan Gen gave a faint smile. You remember that rainy day? Wei blinked. When you gave me your umbrella. Wei smiled softly. You were standing in rain like you didn't care. I didn't. Wei shook his head. You would have gotten sick. Lan Gen looked at him steadily. That day, I started noticing you. Wei's heartbeat increased. You were completely soaked, Wei said gently. Lan Gen stepped closer. And you were worried about me. Silence filled the room. Lan Gen's voice became softer. That's when I began liking you. Wei's eyes widened slightly. Me? Yes. They sat on the sofa. Wei whispered, I didn't know. Lan Gen looked at him calmly. I don't fall for people easily. Wei looked down, shy. I like you too. Lan Gen moved closer. Since when? Wei hesitated. Since you kept coming back. Lan Gen smiled faintly. Then he gently held Wei's hand. No rush. No pressure. Just warmth. The night felt different. Morning sunlight entered the apartment. Wei woke up first. He realized he was on Lan Gen's bed. They had fallen asleep on opposite sides. But sometime during the night, their hands had moved closer. Wei carefully removed his hand and stood up quietly. Lan Gen woke up a few minutes later and saw Wei in the kitchen. You cook too? Wei turned. I can cook, clean, deliver, and make coffee. Lan Gen sat down. Impressive. Wei smiled shyly. Lan Gen took a sip of coffee. It's good. Wei's eyes lit up. Really? Lan Gen nodded slightly. Yes. After breakfast, they were getting ready to leave. Wei said softly about last night. Lan Gen looked at him. Do you regret coming here? Wei shook his head quickly. No. Good. Wei hesitated. I just don't want to rush. Lan Gen walked closer. We won't. Then after a pause. But I won't pretend I don't like you either. Wei smiled. Before leaving, Lan Gen lightly held Wei's wrist. Text me when you reach college. You too. For a second, Lan Gen leaned closer. Almost kissed him. But stopped. Next time, he said quietly. Wei's face turned red. Next time. Years passed gently. Lan Gen was now 21 years old. He was working in the Lan family business with his uncle, Lan Akura. Everyone was surprised how mature and focused he was. Lan Akura often said during meetings, "This boy is sharper than me at his age." Lan Gen's father smiled proudly. His mother would quietly say, "He works too much." His younger brother, Jay Budge, teased him often. "Big brother, you look like CEO already." Lan Gen replied calmly, "Focus on your studies." Meanwhile, Wei had also completed college. His father once had a strong business, but due to financial issues it collapsed. After finishing his studies, Wei restarted the family work slowly. With hard work and some support from the Lan company, things improved. Their families were not strangers. Lan Gen's grandmother and Wei's grandmother were childhood friends. When Lan Gen's grandmother came to the city to stay at Lan House, she said firmly, "I am not going back. All of you live here now." Within a few hours, the house felt full again. Laughter. Conversations. Family dinners. One evening during dinner, grandmother suddenly spoke. "Lan Akura, Now Lan Gen is 21. We should look for a good girl. The table became quiet. Lan Gen continued eating. His mother looked slightly tense. Lan Akura nodded. Yes, I will look. For the next few weeks, proposals came from business families. Every time, Lan Gen politely refused. Finally, Lan Akura called him into his office. Lan General, if you like someone, tell us. Lan Gen stayed silent for a moment. Then calmly said, I do. The room went still. His father leaned forward. Who? Lan Gen replied softly. Wei. Grandmother's eyes widened. Which Wei? Grandmother, your friend's grandson. For 2 seconds she stared at him. Then suddenly she started laughing. So destiny is stronger than us. Lan Gen's mother smiled with relief. His father looked serious, but thoughtful. Are you certain? Yes. Does Wei feel the same? Yes. Grandmother stood up. Then what are we waiting for? Tomorrow we go to their house. The next day, both families met. The moment the two grandmothers saw each other, they held hands. You became old. So did you. They laughed like young girls again. Wei stood quietly beside his father. Lan Gen stood beside his own family. Wei's sister Jianog whispered, Is this really happening? Wei smiled nervously. Lan Akura spoke first. We are not here for business. We are here for family. Wei's father looked at Lan Gen. You will take care of my son? Lan Gen answered without hesitation. With my life. The room fell silent again. Wei's mother wiped her eyes. Grandmother said proudly, Our grandsons chose each other. After a long emotional conversation, both families agreed. The house was filled with happiness. Jay Budge hugged Lan Gen. So finally, Big Brother is in love. Lan Gen gave him a small warning look. Jianog hugged Wei tightly. You better not cry on wedding day. Wei laughed. Preparations began. Shopping. Invitations. Decorations. Music rehearsals. The wedding was beautiful. White flowers. Soft golden lights. Two families standing together. When Lan Gen held Wei's hand during vows, it felt calm. After all ceremonies, noise, laughter, and blessings, the night became quiet. Lan Gen and Wei finally entered their room. Candles. Soft lights. Fresh flowers. Wei looked shy. Lan Gen walked closer slowly. No more running away now. Wei smiled. I never ran. Lan Gen gently moved behind him. He leaned close to Wei's ear and whispered softly, I want 5 babies. Wei froze, then slowly turned. 5. Lan Gen nodded seriously. Yes. Wei laughed softly. You are very confident. Lan Gen placed his forehead against Wei's. I am serious about everything that belongs to you. Wei's smile became softer. And I belong to you? Lan Gen answered quietly. Yes. Wei moved closer. I love you, Lan Gen. Lan Gen's voice lowered. I have loved you since the day you held that umbrella over me. They stood there for a moment. No rush. No words. Just closeness. Lan Gen gently kissed Wei's forehead. Then his cheek. Then finally, a soft, warm kiss. Outside, the city lights glowed. Inside, 2 hearts felt at peace. And that night, they celebrated wedding night. Marriage didn't change everything overnight. Some things stayed the same. Lan Gen was still calm, focused on work. Wei was still warm, expressive, and slightly emotional. But now, they shared one home, one routine, one life. And that meant small misunderstandings were bound to happen. Lan Gen had been extremely busy at the company. New project. Meetings back to back. Late dinners. Wei understood mostly. But one evening, Wei waited with dinner prepared. His favorite dishes. Noodles, soup, and the dessert Lan Gen loved. 7 p.m. passed. Then 8. Then 9. No call. No message. Wei checked his phone again. Nothing. He sighed quietly. Maybe work. Still, the food went cold. When Lan Gen finally entered around 10:30 p.m., he looked tired. Tie loose. Eyes heavy. Wei walked over. You ate. Lan Gen replied simply. No time. Wei nodded, but his voice changed slightly. I waited. Lan Gen didn't notice the tone. I told you this week is busy. You didn't tell today. Silence. Wei spoke softly but clearly. I just wanted one message. Lan Gen frowned slightly. It slipped my mind. It's not a big thing. That sentence hit Wei unexpectedly. Not big. Lan Gen sighed. Wei, I handle company stress all day. Small things happen. Wei stepped back. So I'm a small thing? Lan Gen immediately realized the mistake. That's not what I meant. But Wei was already hurt. You used to notice everything, even when I was quiet. Lan Gen rubbed his forehead. And you used to understand when I was busy. The room became quiet. Not angry quiet. Hurt quiet. Wei picked up the cold plates. I'll heat it. No need. I'll eat later. Wei stopped moving. Sometimes you talk like I don't matter. Lan Gen's voice softened. You matter the most. Then show it. That night, they slept facing opposite sides. No dramatic fight. No shouting. Just distance. And somehow, that hurt more. Lan Gen didn't sleep well. Neither did Wei. Next morning, Lan Gen woke early. Wei was already in the kitchen, making coffee. Quietly. Lan Gen walked behind him. Carefully. Then gently held his wrist. Wei. Wei didn't turn immediately. Yes. Lan Gen spoke honestly. I was wrong. Wei stayed silent. Lan Gen continued. I get busy. But that doesn't mean you become less important. Actually, you're the reason I work this hard. Wei finally turned. Eyes softer now. I wasn't angry about work. I was just missing you. Lan Gen smiled faintly. I was missing you too. Just stupid about showing it. Wei laughed a little. You are very bad at emotional expression sometimes. Lan Gen nodded. Teach me. Wei leaned closer. First lesson, one message takes 10 seconds. Lan Gen took out his phone immediately and typed. Reached office. Miss you already. Then showed it. Wei smiled. Good progress. Lan Gen pulled him gently closer. No more sleeping angry? Wei shook his head. No. I hate that. Lan Gen kissed his forehead softly. So do I. And just like that, their first small fight became another memory. Not painful, but important. Because love isn't only romance. It's learning how to stay together even after small hurts. And they were still learning. Together. Life after marriage slowly found its rhythm. Lan Gen focused on the lawn company with his uncle Lanakurain. Wei expanded his own family business step by step. Work was important. But home always came first. And then one day, everything changed. Wei sat quietly in the bedroom, holding the medical report. Lan Gen noticed immediately. What happened? Wei looked up, eyes soft but nervous. We're going to be parents. Lan Gen froze. For real? Wei nodded slowly. 2. Lan Gen blinked twice. 2. Wei laughed softly. Yes. Twins. For a moment Lan Gen said nothing. Then he pulled Wei into a tight hug. That's the best news I've ever heard. Wei rested his head on Lan Gen's chest. I was nervous telling you. Lan Gen kissed his hair gently. Never be nervous with me. Those months were calm but full of care. Family became extra attentive. Grandmother constantly checked on Wei. Eat properly. Lan Gen's mother sent healthy meals daily. Jay Budge joked. Big brother finally looks worried all the time. Lan Gen didn't deny it. He stayed close. Doctor visits. Late night cravings. Even small mood swings, he handled everything quietly. At night, he often held Wei close. Are you comfortable? Wei smiled. I am. Because of you. Hide finally came. Family gathered at the hospital. Lan Gen stayed beside Wei the entire time, holding his hand, encouraging him. You're strong. Wei whispered back. So are you. Hours later, 2 cries filled the room. A boy. A girl. Healthy. Beautiful. Lan Gen's eyes became slightly wet when he saw them. Wei looked exhausted but peaceful. They look like you, Wei murmured. Lan Gen smiled. Good. Then they'll be stubborn. Life became busier. But happier. Twin laughter filled the house. Lan Gen was surprisingly good with babies. Late night feeding. rocking them to sleep. Changing diapers, no complaint. Wei watched one night. CEO by day, super dad by night. Lan Gen replied calmly. Best promotion ever. Even with babies, their relationship stayed warm. Sometimes when kids slept early, they stole quiet moments. One night Wei sat on the balcony. Lan Gen came behind him, wrapped arms around his waist. You're tired. A little. Lan Gen kissed his temple. But happy? Wei nodded. Yes. Lan Gen turned him slightly and kissed him softly. Dinner time became the best part of the day. Grandmother blessing babies. Parents laughing. Jay Budge entertaining twins. Wei managing conversations smoothly. Lan Gen watching everything quietly. One evening he said softly, "This house finally feels complete." Wei held his hand under the table. Yes. The house was finally quiet. Twins asleep. Grandmother resting. Lights dim. Lan Gen closed his laptop slowly. Wei was standing near the balcony, city lights reflecting in his eyes. Lan Gen walked behind him without saying anything. His arms naturally circled Wei's waist. Wei placed his hands on Lan Gen's chest. You don't say it often. I don't need to. Wei raised an eyebrow. I do. Lan Gen's expression softened. I love you. Wei smiled slowly. Again. Lan Gen leaned closer. I love you. Then he kissed him. Wei responded gently, fingers gripping Lan Gen's shirt slightly. Lan Gen's hand slid to Wei's lower back, pulling him closer. Their breathing synced naturally. Lan Gen brushed his thumb across Wei's cheek. You're still beautiful. Wei laughed softly. After 2 babies? Yes. Lan Gen kissed his jaw, then down to his neck. Wei inhaled sharply. Lan Gen. Door. Lan Gen smirked slightly and walked to lock it. When he returned, his gaze was darker but calm. Wei wrapped his arms around his shoulders. They moved toward the bedroom slowly. Soft kisses. Warm skin. Lan Gen's voice near Wei's ear. Still only mine. Wei whispered back. Always. The night became slower. Afterward, they lay close. Wei resting on Lan Gen's chest. Lan Gen tracing lazy patterns on his back. You're smiling, Lan Gen said. I am. Why? Wei looked up at him. Because even after marriage, kids, business, you still look at me like that. Lan Gen kissed his forehead. How else should I look at my husband? Wei closed his eyes peacefully. And with this, our short BL fanfiction story comes to an end. Thank you for reading and supporting Lan Gen and Wei's journey. This story was written purely for entertainment and imagination. See you in the next story.